I'd like to welcome everyone out. How many first-timers do we have here tonight? First time here to this support class. Good. Well, welcome. We're glad you guys are here. I apologize. We're normally we're a minute behind, so I know. I like to be. Dr. Allen and I hadn't decided yet who was teaching tonight, so I lost because he walked out. So I guess I'm teaching. So
You win.
that's what I meant to say. I win because. Thank you. I appreciate that. No, he's great. He's great. So he does a fantastic job as well. So tonight what we're going to do is we're going to cover week 9 in our classes. And we're going to be talking about sleep tonight. Hopefully you guys won't get any during the class. But how many of you guys, by show of hands, wake up every morning feeling rested and full of energy and ready to get out there and do some damage? A few of us. Good. So the rest could use some help in that arena. And for those that are new, this is a great week for you guys to understand that when we talk about getting healthy, we're talking about a lot more than just reaching our healthy weight, or a lot more than just how do we exercise, which we talked about the last 2 weeks, which are important, but there's a lot of different things that go into optimal health. Optimal health covers a lot of different area, not just what do we eat and how well do we move. It covers so much more. And the next couple weeks, we really start to dive into some of those things that are really absolutely critical to create the optimal health once you get to your goal weight. So what I'd like to do first, since we have a good crowd here, is we're just going to go around and do a quick introduction. Here's how you do it. You say your first name. If you're on the program, how much have you lost? Do not say how long it's been. I've lost 10 pounds in 1 day. We don't say that, which I haven't, but you just, so for example, I'll start. My name's Eddie. I lost 8 pounds 7 years ago and kept it off. But I've learned how to eat. So obviously I'm not a wonderful, huge success story, but you don't have to be. So if you'd like to say something else that's really important, like maybe something you're able to do now, because that's really what it's about. It's not about the number on the scale, although that's fun to watch as it goes down regularly, right? It's not about the number on the scale. It's about getting our life back. It's about getting our health back, having the ability to do these things that maybe we can't do so well when we're not healthy. So that's what's important. So let's start over here.
I'm Stacy and 15 pounds.
Good job, Stacy. If you've reached your goal weight, tell us how long you have been at your goal weight. That is an important thing.
I'm Christy. I've lost 40. I'm at my goal weight, and I've been there about a year and a half.
Good job. Because that's important. How long we keep it off, right?
Yep.
This is Raul, my husband. He's not.
You're a supportive husband.
Yes.
That's great. Hey, that's important. Having a supportive spouse is, or you know what, or just someone you're doing the program with. We know we're more successful, 6 times more successful when you have that support in place. So,
Rochelle, 30 pounds.
good job, Rochelle. Well done.
First night.
Are you on the program today? Just checking it out. Well, we'll try and put on a good face for you. So, we're glad you're here.
I'm Helen. I lost 75 pounds 4 years ago.
Good job. Yep. And
Off of 8 medication. I have 2 diabetes and high blood pressure.
she's doing her first Ironman this summer, right? I'm just kidding. But you know what? She's just so healthy and all over the place and, got control of your health.
To get rid of my medication and not to be in a nursing home.
That's exactly it.
For myself until the Lord calls me home.
That's right.
I will be 80 years old in August.
as Dr. Anderson says, he wants to show up at 104, late for his funeral, come sliding in sideways just as they dump the dirt on him. Right? Living full out, right? That's what this is doing for us. So
That's my goal.
that's right. That's right. We're doing some introductions. If you'd like to just first name, if you've lost any weight, how much weight you've lost.
My name is Jan. My first time.
Very good. Welcome. Are you on the program right now, or another checking us out person? Great. Well, I should have dressed a little nicer tonight. So. Did my hair. That's good.
My name
All right.
is Michelle, and I've lost 40 pounds.
Good job, Michelle. Well done. That's awesome.
Beth, and I lost 100 a year ago.
Kept it off for a year. Awesome. Awesome job.
I'm Sandy, and I lost about 30 pounds, but then I creeped back up, so I'm here for learning to eat and remembering how to eat correctly.
It's the lifestyle part.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because you change on your diet, but then you think, oh, but now I can kind of eat whatever.
Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, when most people reach their goal weight, what do? They celebrate, and they don't stop. So they put their weight back on, and they say, oh, dang it.
I go right now, but
Good. Good for you.
eating better.
Good for you. Living better.
And living, oh yeah, all good blood work.
Good. Good. Kristen.
I'm Kristen, and I'm an Eddie wannabe. I lost 5 pounds and learned to eat. And you are going to do a backflip for us, right? For the new people.
I did it already, so I only do one a night. Sorry you missed it.
But, you ask if we're on the program, and I know you're talking about the 5-in-1, but I am on the program. I eat healthy 6 times a day, and I delve into it daily, and you have to,
Yeah.
no matter where you're at, or we get sidetracked, and it's very easy to do so.
Just because the program might not be the 5-in-1 resulting in weight loss doesn't mean your program. You want to have a goal you're working for, and I know you've got goals, fitness goals, and your eating habits match your fitness goals right now. But you want to have some sort of goal, something you're working on at all times, because health is not it's not a point of stasis. You know what I mean? It's not. You don't get there and stay there without doing something. You're either moving toward health, because health is actually not a place you get to. It's something you work on. It's the journey, or you're moving away from health. And the things you do every day dictate whether you're going in that direction or this direction. Now, fortunately, when you're at your goal weight, you don't have to have every single one of your food items be exactly perfect. You've got some room to have a little bit of extras. When you're on the weight loss part of our program, you want to stick to the program right as good as you can until you get your goal weight and then transition off. I'm a big fan of just get there, be done with it, and get on with living and feel better. And then we'll show you how to eat in maintenance, and we talk a lot about that through these 12 weekly classes. So that's the important part. Is I think the reason why a lot of Americans yo-yo is they get to a goal weight and they have nothing else that they're working on. There is no additional goal. And it doesn't mean that we have to do Ironmans or bodybuild or things like that, but we can have something we want to do. Maybe it's this summer I want to go on a hike to go camping up in the mountains, and I'm going to do some things. I'm going to walk. I'm going to do some things to prepare myself to do that. And that's the thing you're working on next. Or like Tom, he's going to do a sheep hunt this fall, so I'm sure he's going to be preparing for that, if that's still on. I'm not sure if that's still on, but... So you know what? Have that goal. Have the next thing you're working on as it relates to your health, and make the plans. So.
My name's Kathy. I lost 25 pounds.
Good job. Good job, Kathy. Well done. Tony.
Tony Ball, lost 30 pounds in 4 years in August.
Kept it off for 4 years.
And I'm Brenda, and I lost 50 pounds 3.5 years ago, and that was equivalent for me to 55 inches I lost and 5 pant sizes.
That's
Which
pretty
meant
cool.
more to me than the number.
Than the number.
Which all the women in here, I think,
Yeah.
would understand.
Well, because us guys really have no clue what size pants we're wearing right now, so it doesn't matter to us. But I can certainly appreciate the fact that that's important for women. Tony, yeah?
I actually paid very close attention. I went from 36 to was 32.
I'm not that observant, I guess. I'll have to
Part
do
of my
better.
story. Maybe if your story was a little bigger than
Bigger and better.
You're probably right.
Oh, there we go.
You're probably right. Exactly.
Jim, I lost 7 pounds.
Good job, Jim.
7 days.
I got you by 1. Yeah, I'm sure you'll pass me quickly, though.
I'm Tanya and 86 pounds now.
Good job, Tanya. Well done.
I'm Eric. I'm just here checking things out.
Good. Welcome. We're glad you're here.
Doug, 40 pounds, 7 years, size 18 to size 6.
Whatever that
Whatever that means.
is. You said that too confidently. I'm
Well, so now we know.
I'm wondering what's in your
Don't
closet.
wear size
40 to 33.
Okay.
I'm Jennifer, and I am a supportive wife
Good.
too. But as a mom and a wife, I've learned how to cook, and we lived a way healthier life than what we used to.
And isn't it funny when you hear your kids like call you out on something that's not healthy?
Oh yeah, especially
It's not really that healthy, is it, Dad?
now they're calling their friends out at school.
Nice. Yeah. Slow down. Slow down. Exactly. Leilani.
I'm Leilani and I lost 30 and I'm in transition eating foods that I haven't eaten in a long time.
And doing awesome. Definitely. Tom?
55 pounds since February.
Close about his underwear.
We won't go there.
Yeah, we can hear that.
What was that?
His underwear were a 44 and they were so big that it looked like he was wearing a skirt.
I hope you got new underwear. I think that's more than anyone wants shared.
We never know who it's going to encourage.
That, you know what? So true. So true.
I love it.
My name's Tony. I got on the program about a month ago. I lost almost 25 pounds today. Most importantly, I'm diabetic, and my fasting blood glucose was 198 2 days before I started. It's now in about the 80s. I've lost over 115 points in blood sugar. And so I'm in a non-diabetic state
Yeah.
right now. I'll probably be coming off my meds pretty soon, or at least having them, in half really soon. We'll probably eventually come off of them.
That's so awesome. And we see that quite frequently. It's just amazing when someone starts the program, even within as little as 2 weeks, we see dramatic changes in blood work, in glucose levels, in blood pressure, hemoglobin A1C levels. That's an inflammatory marker. We see that drop, which means, the lower your inflammation is in your body, the better you're able to heal and be healthy. And it lowers your risk factors for things like cancer and diabetes and heart disease and all sorts of diseases related to inflammation. So that is absolutely awesome. And of course, for those who are on medications, make sure that you consult with your doctor as you lose your weight. I typically tell people once you've lost about 20 pounds, you want to go see your doctor again, because a lot of those medications that you're on are formulated based on weight. And so you want to make sure that you're following up, checking in, making sure they're aware of those things so that they can help to guide you and counsel you and adjust as you need to have those adjusted. So great job. Well done. Getting your health back. That's awesome. And Chris?
85 pounds.
85 pounds. Great job, Chris. Curtis?
30 pounds.
30 pounds. Well, that's awesome. I don't know if anyone tallied all that up, but that's a lot of weight that we've lost collectively as a group. 806 pounds.
Brenda did that.
Awesome. And that's, how many people is that? Do you have an average? And I'm sorry in advance for pulling the average down. So
Calculate it. Let's give her that.
holler it out to me once you've got it. So that's awesome. That's all. 806 pounds right in this room, gone. That's awesome. Well, great job, everyone. Well, let's do a quick little review. What is our average?
40-pound average.
40-pound average, and that's with me and Kristen
I know,
pulling and
right.
Jim putting our numbers down, right?
I want to be part of that average.
No, we don't.
Well,
'Cause that
at
means-
point it's all gone.
That's right. You guys did awesome.
That just shows determination.
That's right.
And, you know, that's a lot harder to do.
And what's great is I think we only had one person in the room who lost 100, Beth. So, I mean, that's some pretty great numbers for the people we have here. So, well done. That's awesome. Great job. So, quick review. The last couple weeks we've been talking about exercise. We've actually been talking about the science of thermogenesis, which is burning more calories. That's what that means. So, we're talking about burning calories both inside and outside of the gym. Becoming a more active person outside of the gym helps us burn more calories all the time. When we talk like this, and we're always, those people that can't not use their hands to talk, you burn calories when you do that. So it's about learning how to be more active. And then, of course, the benefits of that, especially if you haven't exercised in a long time, the benefits are it starts to help your heart get healthier, your cardiovascular system, which your heart is part of, become more healthy. Your joints and your muscles become a little more healthy. And it prepares you for a little more vigorous activity, which we talk about in week 8. So the EAT program, Exercise Activity Thermogenesis, this is planned exercise. And it might start with our walking program, which is really just kind of designed to get you moving, get you out there. There's a lot of benefits to walking regularly. We know our risk factors for a lot of diseases, especially the age-related diseases, like dementias, heart attack. The recovery increases from things like breast cancers as well as other cancers when you walk regularly. And we're not talking about a little increase. We're talking about 70 to 80% recovery rates when someone does have a cancer. They're able to recover and survive and thrive after that just because they've been a walker. So when we do other things to add to that, it's even more beneficial. Now, the resistance program, for a lot of people, what we suggest is once you get down to your goal weight and you transition off the 5-in-1 program, the weight loss phase of our program, what we suggest a lot of times is to start to do some resistance training, ease into it, so that you can add a little bit of lean muscle. Depending on the person, even 3 to 5 pounds of lean muscle added really helps us to keep our weight off a lot easier. Because for every pound of lean muscle we gain, our body burns an extra 50 to 70 calories with no work attached to it. That's just, you burn that many calories just for that muscle to be in existence. So if you gain 5 pounds of lean muscle, which none of us will look like Arnold Schwarzenegger with just 5 pounds. You look at your legs, your glutes, your back, your abs, your chest and arms. That's not very noticeable actually. But you could be burning an extra 250 to 350 calories a day, which very well could all by itself keep your weight in check. So not to mention all the other benefits, balance, your musculoskeletal system is going to be healthier, your cardiovascular system is going to be healthier. So many things are going to work better just because you did that. So that's what we covered in the last couple weeks, and we gave lots of good tips and guidelines on how to do that. This is our resources here. We use Dr. Anderson's Habits of Health book, and then the workbook, Living a Longer, Healthier Life. Those go hand in hand. We have a 12-week program that really teaches us how to change our lifestyle and create long-term health. A couple great websites for you to go to, habitsofhealth.net. There's a lot of great resources, including Dr. Anderson's 30-day challenge that sends you daily email tips. That's a fabulous one. Sign up for it. It's free. You can go get all sorts of great information off that site. And then this one here, the mytsfl.com site, is a great place that you can log your meals, log your water, log your exercise. It's got a lot of things you can do as far as a food and exercise journal, but there's also some other things on there. There's a blog and a chat room. There's recipes. There's a whole library of information. It's a fabulous resource, and it also is free. So use it for the tool that it is, because it is extremely, extremely beneficial. So I'll wait just a second so we get those emails, those websites written down. Now, the other thing with that MyTSFL site is you can actually download the app on your phone. And so from the comfort of your phone, you can log your meals and your water and all sorts of stuff. You just punch it, do your little clicks, and the magical world of technology takes it away, and it's uploaded into the site for you, and it's awesome. So it's a great way to keep yourself on target as you're getting yourself healthy. And, you don't pay for it. All right, so we talked a little bit about this. Are you getting enough sleep? We all know people like this. I was this person once in high school and had that falling dream, paper everywhere. It was not good. But yeah, or are you this person and you can't go to sleep at night? Anyone like that? So there's a lot of things that we can do to create a healthier sleep habit. So we're going to kind of dive into this. The first thing that we want you to know is there's about 6 levels of sleep. We'll just talk real quickly about these different levels here. Sleep latency, this didn't show up real clear, so I'll just explain it. This is really where you lay down at night, you close your eyes, but you're not asleep yet. You're kind of relaxing. As soon as you fall asleep, you go into stage 1. This is light sleep. That's usually where my kids walk into the room and wake me back up, or I forget to silence my cell phone, and my text thing is like a choo-choo train. It's like choo-choo. That goes off about that time. Stage 2, we're only in stage 1 for maybe 15 or 20 minutes. Stage 2, we start to actually have our brain waves start to slow down, our body function, our metabolism starts to slow down, because in order to get into the deepest sleep, we need all of our body to really slow down and relax. That's what happens when we get all the way down into REM quality sleep, or rapid eye movement sleep. Stage 3 is where we start to get into the restorative sleep. Our brain gets into what's called delta wave. We start to have little bits of dreams, but it's not really deep yet. Stage 4, this is much deeper. We're dreaming here. Much more recuperation, restoration, recharging in stage 4. And stage 5 is very deep. Our body is just kind of totally relaxed. And through this process, we actually see that our core body temperature lowers just a hair when we're in these deep levels of sleep. And so what happens is, during the night, we'll go through 3 to 5 different cycles. They call it a circadian rhythm, because you go in and out of these sleep cycles. And so here's the thing, though. You might be asleep at night and fluctuate here over and over and over again up at the top. And you wake up in the morning, even though you have been technically unconscious for 7 or 8 hours, and you feel exhausted. Like, I need to go back to sleep for 7 or 8 hours just so I can feel better. Unless you can get yourself down in here, where 80% of rest happens down here, but you're probably only in these lower stages for 1/3 of the time. If you can't get there, you're not going to wake up feeling rested. So, and you only dream here at the bottom. How many of you guys don't dream? A few people? You probably are not getting here. So there's some things that we can do to help you improve your sleep, feel a little bit better, and actually get more restoration at night while you're asleep. There's a lot of complications to not sleeping. There's so many. So psychologically, lower performance, slowed reaction time, risk of depression and anxiety. There's actually a lot of studies comparing sleep deprivation and alcohol intoxication. And they find that even with, being awake for 36 hours, I believe it was, reaction times are the same with sleep deprivation and the legal, or just over the legal limits of alcohol intoxication. So it's really quite a big difference when you see slowed reaction times. And of course, our doctors stay up for 24 or 30 hours, and then they do surgery on us. And that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Overweight and obesity. The reason why those are on there is actually there's two hormones that are produced that talk to our brain, what's called the satiety center of our brain. It's the part of our brain that tells us, I'm full, stop eating. There's two hormones. One of them comes from the stomach. One of them is produced as a result of insulin levels. So when we eat, we have that sugar in our bloodstream. Insulin is produced. Insulin secretes this other hormone. It's called leptin. Leptin goes to our brain and says, stop eating. In our stomach, we eat. Our stomach is full. Ghrelin is the other hormone. That actually stops being secreted, telling our brain, I'm full, stop eating. Now what happens is, with sleep deprivation, those don't work right. So we never get the shut off of I'm full, stop eating. So we continue to overeat. That's why the link with obesity and overweight. High blood pressure, this is a result, actually these three here and the poor immune system is a result of some studies that show sleep deprivation leads to systemic inflammation through our body. Low levels of inflammation. When we have chronic low levels of inflammation, our immune system doesn't function right. Chronic low levels of inflammation can have an effect on our blood pressure, our heart, and diabetes is actually a disease of inflammation. That's why they look at hemoglobin A1C levels to really use it as a predictor, looking at someone's risk factor of developing diabetes in the future. It's actually more accurate than blood sugar, because all you have to do with blood sugar is eat a low glycemic or a healthy meal, go get your blood work, and your blood's fine, right? You can't trick that inflammatory marker, though, and it's predictable, they say, even up to 6 months out. So that's a fabulous test, but all of these have inflammation as part of that disease that we need to be aware of. So a lot of things going on, not to mention diseases like sleep apnea that can create all sorts of issues that we just don't have time enough to talk about that tonight. So there's a lot of things that we can work on to improve our health simply by improving our sleep. Now, what are some of the causes of sleep deprivation? Excess weight certainly is one of those. It makes it difficult for us to get comfortable, to find a good position. Sometimes it's even our core body temperature won't drop enough. A lot of times it's our eating cycle associated with that doesn't allow us to relax. Pain or discomfort, that's so many things. If you can't get comfortable in your bed, it's hard to really get to that point where you're really relaxing, getting that restful sleep. Allergies, symptoms like loud snoring with your sleeping partner, or some people wake themselves up, I guess. So trouble breathing, that can also, most sleep apnea sufferers suffer from what's called obstructive sleep apnea, meaning something's blocking the airway. Typically, it's weight that's pulling back actually our jaw, occluding the airway there. And what we know is that even losing 10% of our body weight can lead to a 50% reduction in sleep apnea symptoms. So has anyone who has lost weight been told by your significant other that you stopped snoring at night? Or has that been a benefit that anyone has noticed that would be willing to? So already a few people? Great, yeah. That's very, very common that we see when we start to lose weight and our body starts to function better. We breathe better at night. Restless legs, heartburn, bad dreams, frequent urination, depression, and anxiety. All these things can lead to poor sleep. Now, there's some things that we suggest to start to develop a better sleep pattern. And the first thing is really just understanding what your chronotype is. Now, your chronotype really can be boiled down to, are you a night owl or are you a morning person? And don't fight it. If you're a night owl, don't get up at 4 a.m. Don't take a job that makes you get up at 4 a.m. because life is not going to be so fun. And you're never going to get really good sleep. Accept the fact that that's who you are and try and adapt your life accordingly. Don't use it as an excuse to be lazy and sleep in, but you know what I mean. But understand what you're more likely to do, and don't fight it, but deal with it appropriately. Set a bedtime. This is one of the biggest issues. For those of you who don't sleep well, you don't have to raise your hand on this. Do you find that sometimes you're in bed at 10, sometimes it's 12, sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 9:30? How's your body going to get used to that? Because what happens is, the other thing you want to understand is, there's a gland just in front of our brain and behind our eyes, kind of right back in here, right through here, called the pineal gland. It's this little gland, and it's affectionately called the third eye. Because what happens is, that's a light-sensitive gland, and it secretes a hormone called melatonin that helps us get into that circadian rhythm. It is very much it's dependent on a pattern. And you can throw off the function of that gland by not doing this, by getting out and going to bed at all different times. That's why shift workers, people who have those, they might work nights for 2 weeks and then days for 2 weeks, their pineal gland is just freaking out. They have no idea what to do. They can't get into a pattern, and they actually have to take medication to try and calm it down so they can have some sort of sleep cycle. That's just, whoever came up with that schedule, I don't get that. It might be fair for everyone to not get any sleep, but it's really not fair for anyone to not get any sleep, is it? So setting a bedtime and having a routine. Having kids, they need a routine, don't they? At 8 o'clock, I read a book to my son. We read for about 30 minutes. He's already brushed his teeth. He's already gotten his pajamas on. So we read for 30 minutes, and at 8:30 the lights go out and he's asleep. He's like asleep. And if we go to 8:45, he's asleep, and I'm reading to myself the last 15 minutes. Because we've established a pattern and his body's just there. My older son, who has that same pattern, even when we go out on campouts, he's 14, we're out, having fun, and you stay up late, I'll see him just turn around and say, "Good night, everyone," and because he's like, "I'm tired. I'm ready for bed." Just goes to bed. Awesome. That's good stuff. Then I stay up too late. But setting that routine is absolutely critical. I was reading something last week that talked about, if you want to reset the routine of your pineal gland, what you need to do is you need to get at least 20 minutes of sunlight exposure before noon every morning. Because the pineal gland it's sensitive to light, and it doesn't count if you open the blinds. It has to be unobstructed sunlight to get the right reaction with the pineal gland. And so if you get out there and you get the 20 minutes of exposure, it helps to reset your pineal gland. Now, it won't do you any good if you don't set a bedtime and you're all over the place again. Set your bedtime, get outside in the morning, and you'll find that it becomes easier to reset that clock and get things moving right. Chris?
I'm not supposed to wear sunglasses.
Yeah, you're not supposed to wear sunglasses, right? Thank you. I actually didn't say that today on the radio. I'm going to have to do a redo on that. It's not just enough to be outside. You've got to, don't wear your sunglasses. Sitting in your car doesn't count. Be outside.
Do you just have to do that one time to reset it?
Every day.
Every day.
Do it for a couple weeks until the pattern's set. But that's just healthy anyway. Get outside, get some vitamin D. That's the vitamin. It's actually a hormone that really helps with mood, and it's the best way to treat seasonal depression. So, just feel good when you go outside.
Is there a better time as far as?
I'd make sure the sun's up, but other than that, I don't think so. The study didn't say anyway. If like 6 o'clock and the sun was shining versus 11:30 and the sun was shining, it didn't say that. It just said before noon is when it was. Sorry, that was. So yeah, getting out of bed before noon would be a good thing to do if you want to get sunlight before noon.
On the coast, we have all this fog.
Yeah, you might have to figure out a way to get above the fog before noon to get some sunlight to you, because I'm sure that's going to block that. So that I don't know. So during the day, get out of bed. When When you linger in bed, don't you just feel groggy all day?
Yes.
I tell my daughter, because she sets this alarm clock. It starts going off at 5:15. I get out of bed at 6:10, yelling at her, because she just keeps resetting it. And I'm such a light sleeper. I wake up every 10, 15 minutes when the dang thing goes off. And I'm just like, why don't you just sleep well until the alarm goes off and then get out of bed? Oh, I'm just waking up slowly. No, I was awake. I'm going to bring a cold glass of water down. I'm going to say, that's the last time you set that alarm clock. Limit caffeine. Caffeine has a long life in our body. The half-life of caffeine is 6 hours. So in other words, if you take 50 milligrams of caffeine into your body, and what does caffeine do? It's a stimulant, exactly, which is that a good or a bad thing when we're trying to slow down and relax and go to sleep? Not a good thing. So if you drink 50 milligrams of caffeine, which, what's that, 1 cup of coffee? Half?
I think it's close to half.
How big a cup is that you guys drinking?
Yeah, define a cup.
I don't know. The double cappuccinos are like that big, right?
Well, they say you can have 3 cups of coffee a day and 300 milligrams is your max.
So in other words, I know I'm not a coffee drinker, but I know a lot of coffee drinkers like to have a cup of coffee after dinner, right? I know they're in like little cups, but it's coffee after dinner. But you're taking caffeine within a couple hours of going to bed, right? So if you drink the 300 milligrams of caffeine, say you get those in around 3 or 4 o'clock, you still have 150 milligrams of caffeine of a stimulant in your body when you're trying to go to bed at 9 or 10 o'clock. It's going to make it much more difficult to get into that cycle. So in other words, from there on out, you still have caffeine for the next 6 hours. So in other words, if you want to make sure you're able to relax, don't drink caffeine after noon. I will do a little energy drink, one of the infusers from MetaFast, and it's got, 50 or 100 milligrams of caffeine in it. And I do that in the morning because it's good. I do it actually before I go work out. It gives me a little boost before I go. But I don't do it afternoon because I know, because I've done it, when I drink it afternoon, I have a horrible time. I was actually doing a webinar about 7 o'clock one night, and I was just dragging. So I drank 2 of them.
Wow.
First of all, that was a mistake because I felt like I was like yelling in the microphone during it. And then I couldn't go to sleep till like 4 in the morning. I was just sitting there like that, I should have gone and mowed my lawn or weeded the garden or something. But, so keep in mind, caffeine has a huge effect on falling asleep. Eating responsibly. When we eat something, our body's engine revs up to digest that food, doesn't it? So if you eat, let's just say, 6 chocolate chip cookies and a glass of milk. Not that I've ever done that this week. But if you do that right before you go to bed, your body has to process that, right? So your body's trying to shut down, but also trying to take care of that. First of all, you're not using as many calories in the process because your body is slowing down. Your metabolism's slowing down. So now you actually have extra calories you just put into your system. Those extra calories don't magically get packaged up and shipped out the next morning. What happens to them?
Store them.
They go into our storage system. Fat cells are storage system. And we have an endless capacity to store energy, right? That's what adipose tissue does. So when we eat something big or the wrong thing, high carbohydrate right before we go to bed, it goes to our storage system. Our bodies are so efficient at storing calories. Not very good at giving up calories. It's hard to lose the weight, right? Well, not on our program, but for most people, it's hard to lose the weight. So that's important to remember. And then say no to naps. I mean, and we're talking like the 2 or 3 hour long naps. That throws off that circadian rhythm. 5 or 10 or 15 minute power nap, keep it at that. Don't go over that. That won't throw off your rhythm. but if you're doing a couple hour nap, that's going to throw off that circadian rhythm at night. All right. In the evening, when you set your routine, these are important things to do. Decrease the stimulation. We're talking about television. We talk about reading is a good thing, but if you're reading from your Kindle, the light from the Kindle stimulates your brain. You want to not do that. Get a paper book. Read off of a real book, because it'll help you relax. Eliminate your cell phone use. Minimize liquid intake. I mean, if you drink a lot right before you go to bed, you're going to be up multiple times, right? So just hydrate really good in the morning and taper it down in the evening. And if you have a problem with that, you may not want to drink anything within about 2 hours of going to bed, so you can go to the bathroom right before you go to bed and then stay asleep all night. Avoiding exercise, that just ramps up our system, doesn't it? And it takes hours for it to slow back down. So if you're exercising at 7 or 8 or 9 at night and you want to go to bed at 10:30, probably going to be difficult. I'm still sweating an hour and a half after, so that's just uncomfortable. Take your medications if you need something. A lot of times people will take thyroid or other medications that help their body function right, help your blood pressure. Some of those are taken in the morning, some of those are taken at night. Make sure you consult with your doctor about that, but make sure you do that. The only thing that I recommend at night, personally, if you're not doing a thyroid, is I like taking fish oil at night, because then I don't taste it because I'm asleep, right? Actually, if you take it at night and you refrigerate it, you won't notice anything. So avoid alcohol, and then of course, in the South we say, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy, right? So, and that goes well into the night. At least it does at my house. She's not listening, so none of you know her. That's right. See, that's the problem. Our couch has a dip in it. I always get this crook. It's bad. All right, and then prepare your bedroom. It really is important. If you have fluorescent pink in your bedroom, on the walls, Connor, you might want to change the color because it doesn't allow you to relax. There's a lot of studies that show you want to get earth tones, pastels. A light pink would be okay, Connor, but not hot pink. Soothing colors in your room. The earth tones really are probably among the best. And preparing yourself. Well, let me go back here at the bedroom. The ideal room temperature. Anyone know what it is who's not a health coach? It's below 68 because your core body temperature is going to go down a little bit. You want your room temperature to be a little bit lower. Make sure you're well covered and you're feeling good. That's the reason I hate going to my parents' house in Texas, because it's like 85 at night and humid, and I shut off all the other vents in the house, so only mine is open with the air conditioner, and I go from freezing to sweating, and it's bad. It's not, and then there's roaches like this, and it's just, I don't sleep good there. So make sure you've got good ventilation also. A fan going can also help to drown out noise. If it's not one of those fans that's blowing and has the tick in it, that drives me nuts. Make sure it's constant sound, like the white noise machines. Those are good. But air ventilation is good. Get the fluorescent lighting out of your bedroom. That stimulates your brain, so get that out. Have soft bulbs. Those really help you. Preparing yourself. Taking a hot bath really helps your muscles. It warms you up, yes, but it's going to help your muscles and your body relax. Wear clothes that don't overheat you. Keep them loose, but keep your feet warm. As a scoutmaster, I knew that if I could keep those boys, and that's hard to do, 12 and 13-year-old boys, to keep their feet warm at night, if I could do that, they would sleep. And we did campouts in negative 9-degree temperatures, and we didn't shy away from taking boys out there. If we kept their feet warm, they slept. So that's just as important for us. You'll sleep better. So if you have an issue with cold feet at night, wear something. Wear something that breathes, like wool socks. You can get really thin wool socks so it doesn't overheat your feet, but wear something that's going to keep your feet at a good temperature. And then getting into bed, meditating, reading a book that's not on a Kindle, massage, cuddle, ... keep it G-rated. And all those things help us. We've got young kids in the room that we got to watch in the back there. All those things, you can get total control of sleep. You can recreate that rhythm that will help you get into the restorative sleep every night, and you can wake up rested and ready to go. I do work. I have room to improve on my sleep for sure. But what I notice when I do a good job with these things, which I work on it every night, when I do a good job with it, I can literally have someone come in or wake up in the middle of the night. If I've got a thought, I write it down. That's actually a big thing. And with our phones, Siri, we just tell Siri, remind me to do this tomorrow, and she does it. I mean, I'm not that reliable, but she is. So you can just remind yourself to do stuff, get that off your mind. So in the middle of the night, I can literally get up, check on something, come and lay back down, and I'm back asleep. And you can get back to that kind of sleep, because most of the time, have you guys found that when you wake up, it's like, I'm awake for the rest of the night. So you can get back to the point where you can easily get back into that circadian rhythm, dream, recover, so that every morning you wake up and you feel rested and ready for your day. All right, does anyone have any questions? Is everyone so excited to get into bed by 10 o'clock tonight so you can...
So how much sleep do we need?
It's a great question. Adults technically need 7 to 9 hours. They say that women need 7 to 8 and men need 8 to 9, but my wife doesn't agree with that. Does any woman agree with that?
I do better with less sleep than my husband does.
See, I do better with less sleep than my wife does, but it could be other factors involved as well. Technically, though, I find myself, if I get 7.5 to 8, I'm gold. So I'll wake up on my own without the alarm, and I'm off and running. So, we used to have a chart in here that showed all ages. You, Connor? Yeah, you don't need 10 hours.
I was going to say, what are teens?
Teens actually need 8 to 9 hours is all. So, younger kids under the age, I think it's under the age of 12, I think it's like 6 to 12, they need 9 to 10. Infants need up to 15, 16 hours of sleep. So, I guess, Connor, if you wanted to get your diaper changed again and fed from a bottle, you could go back to 15 hours. All right, other questions?
Well, you didn't mention hot flashes.
Did I mention hot flashes?
You didn't.
Okay.
And there
I was going
are
to say, I didn't think I
issues
mentioned hot
sometimes
flashes.
sleeping. So what do you do to get back to sleep, or what do you do?
Treat the hot flashes. You might need to do something that allows you to control that. There's a lot of supplements that help you control hot flashes that are hormone-based or supplement-based. I mean, even being on the I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of people notice when they're on the program because of soy protein that a lot of those symptoms really calm down quite a bit. So,
I was going to say, actually, foods that have high in fat and preservatives actually kick your hot flashes on generally more so.
I don't have that. I'm not eating that.
No, but I'm just saying
yeah.
before. So if you're eating really healthy, that helps to damper it.
Well, thank goodness.
yeah, it does.
Maybe I'm
But
lucky.
if it's an issue, you might want to get some help from someone who can prescribe like bioidentical hormones or something like that. Get some help and guidance from someone who actually works with that. But there are things you can do to really help control those to be able to sleep better. Yeah.
I was having problems going to sleep because I like to read at night too. So I changed my settings so the background is black. The letters are kind of a gray color. And I don't have any problem going to sleep after I read now.
That certainly helps. You still get a little bit of stimulation, but not nearly as much if you have that as if you have that bright screen, for sure. Definitely. Thank you, Jim.
When you eat your last meal, do you try to eat it as early as possible.
Which meal are you talking about? A Metafast meal or?
Metafast meal, say at
The
9
beauty,
o'clock or 8 o'clock.
the beauty of the Metafast meal is because it's so low glycemic, you could eat it and go right to bed and be just fine. It's similar with having a protein source that's called casein protein, which digests over 4 to 6 hours. And so having a little bit of protein in your stomach is actually a good thing. So a lot of people find they sleep better when they have a very slow digesting protein source in their stomach, which the Metafast program, although it's not really slow digesting, because it's so low glycemic, you're not going to get a big insulin spike. It's not going to really rev things up and cause you to not sleep. But ideally, you want to probably have that last meal about an hour before you go to bed. Then you really do well.
Is melatonin safe?
It is. Your body makes it.
And in young kids too?
Yes.
I mean, how young?
I've given it to my 7-year-old.
On a regular basis?
No, not on a regular basis. You should never have to take melatonin on a regular basis.
Okay.
Melatonin is one of those things that can help you reset your cycle. You should not need to take it for an extended period of time, like longer than a month. If you're doing it right, and again, I would consult someone, a sleep expert or someone who knows how to prescribe melatonin, because there's a lot of people who do, and a lot of those who do don't really know how to prescribe melatonin. So you want to talk to someone who knows what to do there, but that should be a short-term thing that and coupled with all of these other things to reset your cycle so you can retrain that pineal gland to start working right. It's not like the thyroid gland. If you develop hypothyroidism and the thyroid gland is not producing thyroid, you probably need to supplement, have a prescription the rest of your life to supplement. The pineal gland typically isn't that way. It can get back into that rhythm and produce it on its own. Sometimes we just use it kind of like to prime the pump. That's all you should have to use it for, not for long term.
It's almost like the people can't sleep or watch TV or electronic, like cell phones and iPads and that stuff is actually
keeping you awake even longer.
Right.
It's exactly right. We turn to the wrong things to sleep. Just get like the biggest book in your house and start reading, and you'll be slobbering and asleep in no time. All right. Thank you guys for coming, and we look forward to seeing you next week.